Video games, there's several now young people have died from playing video games for extended periods of time. Literally, one child in Japan had a heart attack because he kept playing for several days and couldn't stop. I mean, obviously, the majority of kids aren't going to be doing that, but there are kids that get addicted or early. I personally, my kids don't play any video games. I just don't have them in the house. You know, sometimes they go to their friend's house and they do things, but I would not recommend video games personally. I know it's, some people think, you know, it's unreasonable, but I've read too much of the research about it. You know, I wouldn't do video games. I don't think they're healthy. And a lot of them, you know, they're just total waste of time. There's nothing educational about them at all. Go ahead, kid. You went out and played, you know, you did things. You went out and played. I mean, life is much more interesting than a video game. Really. I lived with Bedouin kids in the Sahara. They're some of the happiest, well-adjusted kids I ever met. They spend their whole time outside, outdoors. You know, go outside and play. Say it's too hot or something like that. Get used to the heat. You know, really, get used to the heat. Most of you are Arabs. The Arabs say, "Ash-shamsu hammam al-Arab." The sun is the sauna of the Arabs. Arabs, that's why your skin color is the way it is, so you can go out in the sun. I can't go out, I get skin cancer. God knows what He's doing, where He put people and how they look and how they can handle their environments. You guys all in air conditioning. I lived in Al Ain for 4 years without air conditioning in a cinder block house. I was 20 and 24. I lived in Al Ain for 4 years without air conditioning. The whole time. Because I don't like air conditioning. Half these guys are getting rheumatism now. You know, look at the older people in this country. They're all suffering, all having problems. These things aren't, you know, you guys are gonna, you'll see eventually. But, you know, أَخْشَوْشِنُوا فِإِنَّ النِّعْمَةَ لَا تَدُومُ. You know, Sayyidina Umar said, be tough on yourselves because you won't always have blessings. Most Western people can't sit on the floor. If you see Western people try to sit on the floor, their knees are all, they can't put that, they don't have any, why? Because they never sit on the floor. They always sit on chairs. I've been sitting on a floor all my adult life since I became Muslim. I can sit on a chair if a chair is there, but at my house I sit on the floor because I choose to. I can do a full lotus at my age. There's a yoga position that most young people can't do. It's only because I've always been sitting on the floor, so I have elasticity. Now there was just a study done about just stretching and how important stretching it was. You can learn things from cats. Have you ever watched cats? Cats are always stretching, you know? Cats are the most flexible animals in the world. And just watch them. Humans used to stretch. Now they're just shriveling up. Really, you see people that are 50, they look like they're 80. You see people that are 20 and they're behaving like they're old people. In America, we have people that are dead at 25, buried at 75. Really, living dead. People that have really, they're hollow people because they're spending so much time. We have pornography is a major problem in the United States. I just was at a conference in Princeton University, and there's published papers. I delivered a paper at that conference on pornography. One of the major problems in the United States of America, pornography addiction. It destroys families. It causes impotence. Males become impotent after they get addicted to pornography. 10 years of addiction, they've lost their potency. So what got them in it ends up being destroyed anyway. These are major problems that are going on now. And, you know, you're from a culture, قُلْ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ يَغُضُّوا مِنْ أَبْصَارِهِمْ. You know, this culture is a culture of modesty, and modesty is a beautiful quality. Europeans and Americans used to be very modest people, and there still are some modest people, undeniably. There's many good Christian people, there's many good, even secular people that have basic modesty and things, but many people now, they've completely lost their sense of shame and do things publicly that would have never been done even 20 years ago. Even 20 years ago. I mean, I see bumper stickers all over California with foul words on them, as if children weren't around, you know. I mean, my kids sometimes ask me, I've got a five-year-old kid that's starting to read, and he sees words that, you know, I can't even explain to him what they mean because there's no shame. And I believe in preserving innocence of children. I don't want to see a sexualized culture where naked women or naked men are all over the place, and before children are ready to even grasp what these things mean. It's not like Aboriginal cultures, because there's Aboriginal cultures that don't have the same problems in a culture that's manipulating people sexually. Go ahead.
Don't give your kids